Today, I want to talk to you about sugar. It is a huge topic, and we should start with a phenomenon that's quite shocking. Data has pointed out that in Australia's Northern Territory, sales of certain soft drinks were once reportedly world-class. Yet the health status of the local indigenous population was extremely poor. Many were passing away from various chronic diseases in their 20s and 30s. That is shockingly young. So, what is the exact connection between all of this and sugar? That's what we need to delve into today. The information we have doesn't just document the concrete health impact of sugar. It also provides some truly thought-provoking perspectives on why we find sugar so hard to resist. That psychological layer is extremely important. Our goal today isn't just to understand what sugar does, but to dig deeper into why we consume so much of it, and how it triggers the entire chain of reactions inside our bodies. The severe reality, the anti-warning. First, let's look at some tough realities. According to the data, adult diabetes prevalence in some of those indigenous communities once reached as high as 22.7%, far exceeding the national average. It wasn't just diabetes. Issues like cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease are also very common, and they are occurring earlier and earlier in young people, a huge warning sign. The data highlights a comparison. Historically, when these groups lived a more traditional hunter-gatherer lifestyle with natural diets, they reportedly had almost none of these chronic diseases. But after the introduction of massive amounts of sugar, soft drinks, and processed foods, their health status took a dramatic turn for the worse. This strongly points to the high sugar content in their diet being inextricably linked to these severe health problems. This raises a fundamental question: when modern, high-sugar diets impact a group with vastly different traditional eating habits, why is the health fallout so destructive? It relates not only to lifestyle changes, but also to the adaptability that the body evolved over a long time. The Northern Territory acts as a direct warning. The grasping mind and delusion. Hearing this, you might ask, if we know eating too much sugar is bad, why do so many fall into a pattern that seems so hard to escape? This brings up a deeper issue. Why is sugar so hard to resist? Our data offers a compelling perspective. The inner habit of grasping genuine. Our senses are never fully content. Our eyes want to see what they're like, and our ears want pleasant sounds. If external stimulation is lacking, our mind will even create feelings to grab onto and react to. This deeply rooted habit of constantly reaching outward, seeking short-term sensory stimulation, easily makes the consumption of sugar slide from a biological need into a psychological addiction. The data also mentions a state called delusion, mistaken without knowing it. We are in a state where we can't see the whole picture, yet we feel certain we understand it, like the story of the blind man and the elephant. When we eat sugar, we only feel the immediate sweetness and mood boost, but we ignore or choose not to think about the subsequent wild blood sugar fluctuations, long-term physical burden, or future disease risk. This is delusion, seeing only the delicious tree sweetness, but not the entire forest, the complete health impact. Food as information, the body's static store. If this delusion leads us to consume too much sugar, what happens inside our body? A crucial concept is, food is information. Every bite we take is sending a specific message to the body. When a massive load of specific information sugar suddenly rushes in, the body is forced into emergency overtime. It becomes chaotic, issuing contradictory instructions. The pancreas frantically secretes insulin to lower blood sugar, while the liver might simultaneously release stored sugar. This internal, contradictory signal confusion eventually confuses the cell's power plant, the mitochondria, leading to systemic operational dysfunction. The whole system is messed up. This internal chaos and stress put every single cell into an uncomfortable state described as suffering. What we consciously feel is fatigue, mental fog, and poor concentration, that dazed feeling. This is the concrete manifestation of cells crying out in protest. That fatigue is the cells protesting. If this internal imbalance is sustained, it's highly likely to lead to dysfunction of the entire endocrine system. The data even suggests this long-term imbalance can potentially affect appearance and fundamental physical characteristics. This impact is much deeper than we imagine. This also explains why many feel instantly lightheaded and sleepy after a large, sweet meal. The body is mobilizing massive resources to deal with the sugar. The signal to rest is a self-protection mechanism. If you push through without resting, It could take much longer, potentially up to 10 hours, to metabolize the excess sugar. Final reflection: the immediate price. So, what does this all signify? The cases, the grasping, and the chaos all point to one core observation. People easily prioritize immediate gratification, the brief pleasure of sugar, and ignore the long-term price. Crucially, many ignore that this cost is not just happening in the distant future, it's happening right now. Every time we overconsume sugar, the body is experiencing a small crisis. Cells are under stress. That post-sweetness fatigue and mental fog is the alert your body is sending out in that moment. But we often ignore it. This goes back to the state of delusion. We fail to see and understand the entire chain of cause and effect, from the first bite to the immediate physical reaction, to the long-term accumulation of chronic disease. We stop at the front end, sweet, delicious, and know very little about the consequences. This pattern of prioritizing the near term over the long term, and focusing on a single aspect like taste, while ignoring the whole like health, likely exists in all our daily lives. Take a moment to reflect. How much attention do you pay to the most direct feeling your body gives you after eating different foods? Does it make you feel vital and clear-headed, or sleepy and heavy? Conclusion: our discussion covered the severe health impact of sugar, the internal grasping tendency, the signal confusion storm it triggers in the body, and the state of delusion we often operate in. One final point is worth considering. Food is information. Every bite sends a specific signal. Excessive or unsuitable information, like too much sugar, is like creating massive amounts of static in the body, causing systemic chaos and burden. I will leave you with one final question to consider. If every bite of food sends a signal to your body, what message do you intend to send with your next meal or drink? And behind the seemingly ordinary choice, what internal static or warning signals from your body might you usually be ignoring?